Ladies, women, sweethearts and wives. Well, I'm definitely wearing the correct hat for this one, aren't I? This is where Jack Ford and Dolly go to the dukerage of the Duke of Bedlington. You meet Lady Caroline, and she's a fantastic character, isn't she? And I think Jack and Lady Caroline really worked well together, and potentially they could have ended up together. Potentially, but they were from very different worlds. Her family had made it money-wise, whereas Jack is getting on, isn't he? He's trying to make it. He eventually does, of course, we find that out later. But at this stage, of course, Sir Horatio visits Jack and tells him that it's going to be at the Duke's place. It's not going to be at the Royal Saracen, which for Dolly, this was a big enough deal as it was. Being who she is, being what she was used to. She was a parlourmaid back then. She was used to serving them, wasn't she? And she doesn't like rich people. She calls them snobs. So, yeah, it was always going to be difficult for Dolly. And even Sir Horatio says you wouldn't put her through this if you loved her. He says, that you don't love her, you know.
What's all this dressmaking for, anyway? You going to open a salon or something? Madame Dolly's Modes?
For the dinner, you daft thing.
What dinner?
That posh do that you're taking us to at the Royal Saracen. I'll have to have a proper evening dress.
Ah, you will, but it won't be one you've made yourself.
Don't tell me you're going to buy us one.
Looks as if I'll have to. I gave up thieving a long time ago. Anyway, I don't think sheepskins have been worn this year.
Jack, they're terribly expensive.
You're my wife, Dolly. It's up to me to make sure you're as good as the rest.
Ah, Sir John and Lady Ford, eh, Jack?
Give us time, bonny lass. Don't rush us.
Where's Matt?
Yeah, there's a branch meeting. He's taking it.
I thought you
I've got a cold coming.
Oh, have you? Can I get you something?
I've got all I want, and it's not a cold. Matt will manage. I just fancied a bit cuddle with a dressmaker, that's all.
Ah, did you?
Aye, I did.
You seen anything of the Seatons, Jack?
I saw Bella pushing Bill home and I left the office. Why?
I think you know why.
Oh, so you've heard, have you?
Aye. Tom told us when he was doing the garden. Jessie Ashton's had a baby.
Arthur William Ashton, poor little clot.
Jack, that's not a nice thing to see.
Isn't it? Suppose he takes after his father. You're thinking you're second best again, is that it?
I can't help it, Jack. You know I can't. Because it's true.
Is it?
You know it is.
It better not be, Pet, because if it is, we've got no life at all.
Of course, Dolly is making a dress for the dinner party, but Jack knows this isn't good enough, and he buys her an amazing dress for £6, I think. So, yeah, that was a bargain. Of course, the currency was very different back then. I think she looks really nice in it, to be fair. It was a good choice of dress. The one she was making, yeah, that wasn't bad, but I think the classier option was better, personally. But she doesn't like that. And she doesn't like the opal that Jack gives her from a Russian countess. This all goes back to the ring issue. Of course, Jack Ford bought a ring for Jessie Seaton. He never got to give it her. He gave it to Dolly instead because she got pregnant. That was the deal they made. And again, she thinks that she's second best because he didn't get it for her originally. She also doesn't like the fact that he had all this money. He could have bought her own ring, but he didn't. But as Jack says, he did it out of the fitter's wages at the time. And the stuff he had, I love his little box with all his possessions in, like his pocket watch and things that are valuable. And as he says, he wanted to use this money to get on, and he really did, didn't he? And it was for the benefit of Dolly as well, and it was for the benefit of her brother Matt Headley. It wasn't just for him personally. She didn't starve, did she? Not for long. She was treated to a very nice life, much better than I think what she would have had if she didn't have Jack. But I suppose they didn't seem very loving much, I suppose. They didn't have a very loving relationship. But for the time period, I guess things like that were fairly normal, if I'm honest. But yeah, she doesn't like the opal. And then, of course, later on, when Jack's buying the land from Lady Caroline, doesn't he call it like the opal, something like that, the Opal Trust Foundation? Very clever to get this land where Mandrake House is. And then eventually, of course, he explodes it so that Sir Horatio Manners can buy the land. And Yeah, but the problem is, of course, this building is a historical work of art. I think it's Vanbrugh, isn't it? I love that episode as well, where he blows up Mandrake House. I mean, it took a lot of balls to do that, didn't it? And Jack, brilliant. And Lady Caroline, him and Lady Caroline seem to work very well together as a team. Later on, yeah, they kind of fall out. But originally, you're even thinking, are they going to get together potentially? But I think they're from very different worlds, aren't they? I think Jack does mention marriage, but she's like, not to me. So, yeah, but I think they did like each other quite a lot, actually. And the lady who plays Lady Caroline, escapes me her real name, actress name, I thought she was very good, the first one. The second one, she was good, but not as good. I thought the first original Lady Caroline was the best for me. And they have a really great relationship, I think, on screen. They're both very clever. Lady Caroline says that Jack is like her husband. She's a widower now. And, of course, the Duke of Bedlington, I think he's a very good character as well. He's pretending that he doesn't get things, I think. He's doing that thing when people get old. He's pretending he's not all there, but I think he is really. I think it's that sort of thing. And he likes Jack. You know, he invites him round to go shooting. And as Lady Caroline says, her father thinks that, you know, Jack is like their remote ancestors, like what they would have been like before they got rich. And I think a later episode, is it The Simple Pleasures of the Rich? Or maybe it's not called that, but that's what the Duke calls it, The Simple Pleasures of the Rich. And Jack fits in this world. He really does. And it's great seeing his journey from where he was originally as Sergeant Jack Ford to get up to this point.
Well, they won't be so very bad, will they, Sir Horry?
None of them actually eat with their fingers. Not even the trade unionist.
The what? Oh, no. No. Sorry, Manners. Willing to help. We can't have the Reds in. Well, I'll have to swallow the mulligatawny and the tin pineapple and vomit in decent privacy like the Romans. Was the Romans, wasn't it?
Yes. They used a place called the Vomitorium, but that was for between courses.
You know, often used to wonder what all those governesses taught you. Well, now we know.
Ford, the trade unionist, is really quite civilized. I've seen him in action in a place not unlike this. And I know.
Yes, but if he's a Red...
He isn't. He'll be with us on this.
Oh, I'm not sure I like that either. Chap should play for his own side.
He'll do that, all right. More work for his members if we get the trading estate going. His wife may be a problem.
Not a lady, I take it.
A parlourmaid.
Well, at least she'll know about knives and forks.
Well, but anyway, Caroline can trot her out with the other mares while we talk business over the port.
One delight after another. Oh, Daddy was sweet to me.
This fella Ford, he'll be no trouble.
I don't think so. But if he is, then God help us.
You know, Sir Horry, you sound almost afraid of him.
It's taken me a long time to realize it, but I rather think I am.
So it's a very interesting episode, this one. You have classes of people, don't you? And it's very unfortunate what happens to Dolly, but you can see it's going to happen. She reacts to it, doesn't she? She doesn't laugh it off or say something clever. She just storms out of the room and calls them bloody snobs. Lady Caroline confronts her about this, and she later tells Jack Ford that Dolly is afraid of him.
Yes, that was the year George bought the Gainsborough. I don't suppose you know what a Gainsborough is either.
No, I don't. But I know what you are. You're a bloody snob.
Excuse me, ladies. Bitches, aren't they?
Sorry.
Oh, please. No apologies. I only wish I had your courage. Oh, don't, my dear. It isn't the end of the world.
It is for me. When Jack finds out.
Your husband. Well, shall I fetch him?
Oh, no. Just let us go. Please, madam. Just let us go.
And she knows that she's a parlourmaid because Dolly calls her madam. And Lady Caroline also comments that Dolly is not a lady. So it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, with Horatio, he did say about Dolly, that she might be a problem in the future, and he was right about that, but Jack married her because she got pregnant. That was the only reason. It was a shotgun wedding, wasn't it? He wanted to be with Jessie. I think it would have worked, him and Jessie, but we'll never know, do we? We don't know. They had very different political views, didn't they? Jack was all about getting on, whereas Jessie wanted to help everyone. Jack wanted to help people, but mostly in his inner circle, whereas Jessie wanted to help everyone. But this episode, I love the clash of cultures, and with Dolly, she just doesn't really fit in that world, and she isn't really making much of an effort to try and fit in. She doesn't want to be honest. I mean, remember when she's having that dessert and it completely falls apart, and the biddy in the drawing room, as Jack calls them, laughs that her dessert is completely kaput. But I love this episode. I think it's a really good one. But I think with Dolly and Jack, was it ever going to work? I think it could have worked if they had a baby, but that didn't happen. Sadly, she had a miscarriage. And later, of course, she ends up with Tom Seaton. She's in love with Tommy, and she likes Tom as well. And yeah, they eventually run off, don't they? After Dolly runs away, she knows that this is the end. Although maybe it wouldn't have been if she chose differently, but she wanted to go with Tom, and it's interesting, it all has to happen so quick, doesn't it? These days it wouldn't be like that. Not really. I don't think you'd run off and then you'd be with somebody instantly. I know it's a TV show, but I suppose back then you had to make definite choices.
Mr. Ford?
Lady Caroline?
I'm afraid I have some unfortunate news for you. Your wife's gone home.
Those biddies in the drawing room.
I call them bitches. Biddies is much better.
I better get after her.
I shouldn't. She's much too afraid of you.
Afraid?
She was a parlour maid, wasn't she?
She told you?
She called me madam. It was the way she said it.
Well, she's not a parlour maid now.
She's not a lady either. But then that's her choice, Mr. Ford. Not yours.
Hello, Jack.
Jessie, here's to your band.
Thanks. You're looking very grand.
Been dining with the Duke, Rayburn Castle.
You mean it?
It's true. Me and the wife.
Is she here?
No, she left early.
I see.
Aye, maybe you do. You're a clever girl, Jessie Seaton.
I don't want your troubles, Jack.
Neither do I, but I've got 'em. Troubles of your old, have you?
I came to hear Jimmy Maxton speak. I'm just waiting for my husband to take me home.
The socialist troubles, are they?
You're a clever one and all, Jack Ford.
Aye, and a fat lot of good it did either of us.
That'll do, Jack.
It'll have to, won't it? Here. Give your bairn this from me. This won't do, Ashton, won't do at all. Leaving your wife alone at this time of night. You wouldn't believe the riffraff that gets in here.
Mr. Ford, isn't it?
That's right.
Come to see the fun, have you?
Fun? Not tonight, Bonnie lad. I reckon I've seen it.
Dance to the daddy, sing to the mommy, dance to the daddy, to the mommy sing. Thou shalt have the fishy on a little dishy, thou shalt have the fishy when the boat comes in. Thou shalt have the fishy on a little dishy. Thou shalt have a haddock when the boat comes in. Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy. Thou shalt have a bloater when the boat comes in. Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy. Thou shalt have a mackerel when the boat comes in. Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy. Thou shalt have a salmon when the boat comes in.